Today we're building the mini mat together. You're going to get to see the ins and out of it. You're going to get to see how I build it. You're going to get to see everything about it. Not only that, today, as of today anyway, whatever date this is posted, you're getting the latest and brightest and everything I've learned so far, all put together in one tiny short little video. Okay, I don't want to spend a lot of time on building coils. I made a lot of videos on that. Please do them the same way I do it, the same size and everything. There's a lot of math that goes into this, and don't mess that up, okay? This is like, we're gonna need 6 coils for the mini mat basically, okay? The taping, just gonna emphasize, tape them as tight as you can near the breaking point of the tape, okay? I'm really good at this. I got a whole career of doing some high voltage taping and stuff like that, so this is gonna take you guys a long time. Your hand's gonna cramp up, and like, give yourself, just be patient. And also, when you take them off the bottle, sometimes they'll just explode, all right? So just relax, and it's just part of the learning process. It is not easy, but it's worth if you're doing it. Then trim the ends off, and then we're gonna have to burn. There's an enamel on it. Some of it comes red, blue. This one was gold. Yes, it's insulation. So I burned it off, and then I basically cleaned it up with the sandpaper. And then you gotta solder all your connection that you gotta make. That's also very, very important. And from there, you gotta test them before you put them on, make sure they're good. And then you gotta tape the ends back onto the coil to protect it. Magnet wire does not like to be bent. It'll break every single time. You see me with the pliers there? It's just because there's a little pokey. You gotta get rid of that too. This is where we're at now. This is what you should be having in your hands basically. You should have 1, 2, 3 coils, 1, 2, 3 coils hooked up in series with one another, and you got 4 tails that we're gonna end up lining up in parallel. What I mean by parallel, I mean this. You put your tails together of each row. Then after, what we have to do is we need to join our 2 ends right here and here with a very long cord so we can reach the mini mat and the controller. I spliced them together, I soldered them. There's lots of YouTube video how to solder. Just go right ahead, learn if you don't know how. Just remember, learning costs money. You're gonna have to buy tools, and you're gonna make mistakes. But learning is fun. That's what you're here for, anyway. Now, I always cut the ends to see how much penetration I got. Make sure that the solder went right through the way it should. This thing will never come apart. Then I put a heat shrink on it. The one that I had on hand was a little too small, so I stretched it, but I stretched it too much on the first time and I broke it. Like I said, you will make mistakes. It's just the way it is. Don't worry about it. It costs money when you make mistakes, but it's part of learning. Learning always costs money. Then I shrink them up. So now we have our 6 coils and the really long cord ready to go. Okay, the controller. So I'm gonna tell you guys right now, you need to follow the instruction on how to build the coils. But the power supply, you also need to follow the instruction. Don't go out and buy a cheap Chinese power supply. Like, I would say probably 50 to 60% of all my troubleshooting with people that build this, they just have the wrong power supply. You cannot trust what a cheap power supply on AliExpress or Alibaba is telling you. We need 19.5 volt and 9.25 amps. That's what we need for this build. And the power supply that I have is really good for that. Now, I just remove all the excess stuff that I don't need there, obviously. And these tools, they sure make the job easy and good. Like, this is just a uni bit there, and it makes the whole size perfect, 12 mil for the power button and the strain relief. Now in my travel, I've come across all kinds of mistakes that people make, and even though it's not a complicated wiring, it's still will confuse a lot of people here because the power switch has 4 wires. 2 are for the LED to turn on and off, and then 2 are your switch leg. So yeah, I always put the little rubber grommet back on the switch, because when you tighten the knot, the rubber grommet gets squished and acts as a lock nut basically. Tightening that nut there is not the easiest thing to do. There's not a lot of room, but a little bit of practice, you'll get it. I made a mistake there. You should never remove the end cap of your wire, because if you touch those wires, they'll fray and it makes them harder to terminate. Wait until you're ready to terminate before you remove the little end cap there on them. Now a glue gun is really neat to have. It saves you a lot of time. And those wire strippers that I have, they're incredible too, because I don't know if you've seen the easiest, like it was so easy to remove the outer thing. Now you need the hole slightly too small for strain relief, so you get to make the tread as you screw it in. And then you shove the long wire that's attached to the coil into it, and then you shove the power supply wire in there too. Leave them a little longer than what you're going to need, so it's easier to work on when you're going to terminate the ZK. Now you put the ZK inside the 3D printed plate that's on the Patreon to download, which fits perfectly for that case. And then you got to terminate the wires according to the ZK writing there. The ZK tells you which wire goes where. Now I like to hot glue the ZK to the 3D printed plate. It just makes it more secure. Plus I really like my glue gun. I really like those wire strippers too. They're just amazing. So that's a little power block distribution that I glued in. And then you get the power supply positive that goes into it, and then one of the switch leg going in it. It doesn't matter which one. If you don't know how to work that out, you can just reach through me through Patreon there, I'll help you out. Then you start terminating the other side of the ZK. So the negatives go together, they're volt negative obviously. It's not an easy thing to do there, and yeah, it's kind of cumbersome a little bit, just because there's not a lot of room to work again. And then when you tighten the wire, you always tighten them up, give them a couple seconds to cool down, and then tighten them up again. It's just because of the heat, you want them to cool down so that everything shrinks and then gets back into its place. And now you got that. You add a little bit of glue to the strain relief to keep it in place, and then dab a glue on the nut so it doesn't come apart on you. And then you push that perfectly press fit cover plate, and here we go, power button, and we're in business. We're ready to line up the coil now. Okay, orienting the coil. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy that part actually quite a bit. So that's just a yoga mat, nothing fancy. I'm going to cut it to size and stuff like that. Now, when you put your magnet when you put your coil on, and then I use a fishing magnet, and then I feel if it pushes a pull, and that's the way I can orient the coil. So as long as they all do the same thing, I don't care which way is which. And then I can use also one as a master, and I can use my gauge meter, etc. I'm going to quickly show you all the different setups. So I've just randomly put my coil there. I'll turn my controller on, and I put it at 1 Hertz and 10% duty cycle when I orient them, so it gives me lots of time to feel it. And 1 Hertz is slow enough that I can see me, like, I know. If you play with it, you'll find out quite quickly. Now I'm going to mark 1 as my master. Then I'm going to grab a free floating magnet, and then when you put a coil that orients the same way, it'll add, that means it'll make it stronger, and if they're opposite to each other, then they cancel each other up, and that's what basically I'm doing right there. I'm looking at the magnet. When it barely moves, that means it's like it's the wrong way, and when he moves even stronger, then it's the right way. Then I just replace the coil. All my wires are all tangled up, obviously, because I've been playing with them way more than I usually do. Now, the last method that I'm going to show there is just using the gauge meter. Gauge meter tells you which way is north, which way is south. When you do that with a gauge meter, you need to increase your duty cycle, because my gauge meter needs at least 25 to 30% to be able to take a reading. And then there you go. Now, I took a reading of the gauge, and I'll show it to you. Now I'm just showing different ways that you can hold on the magnet and see it. Like, it's pretty obvious when you play it. And now I'm just untangling the wire. On the Patreon there, I'll have more detail on this video, so you guys can get to see it. Now, after that, when you got all the coil facing the same way, which is crucial, by the way, you got to secure them in place. Look how perfectly lined up I'm trying to get them, and you'll see why in a second. This is important. This tape is pretty evil, so make sure you kind of get it right the first time, because it's really hard to peel it off. You'll rip everything apart. And I just secure them in place. The little bonus thing at the end there, something that's dear to my heart. I hate people that take advantage of other people, and I decided that this year I was gonna expose a lot of them. So go check it out. Then the joint that I make, I secure it in between the two coils right there. And then that's the final cord that's gonna stick out. So you need to build yourself a little bit of a strain relief there, so I just tape it good, just to make sure. Then I fold it, make sure everything is good. And now, watch this. Do you see how it moves? And then when I put it like that, it's speed up right now. You don't get to see it as good as I'd like to. I'll have this a little more in detail again on the Patreon, but this is just to kind of show you what's gonna happen here when I get my Centropic cloud. See how they manage to basically counteract this effect right there. It's quite comical, actually. Yeah, then all you gotta do is put it in the bag, and off you go. You're to the races. You got yourself one hell of a mini mat, like one hell of a mini mat. Like, I'm not joking, it's crazy.